Oh,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Joining me today is the full fucking house, because we just went from me and Canter for 2 episodes. So, full fucking house today. That's right. You got me, you got Kelsey, you got James, you got Canter, you got JoJo. I was looking at the Discord screen, and I almost went with the lineup there, and then I decided to look over the actual editing screen, and I went with the lineup there, because that's the correct lineup. I didn't want to upset JoJo.
I don't think anybody care.
Maybe.
And JoJo,
I was paying attention.
Maybe
JoJo took offense last time, dude.
He did.
I'm trying to do my job. All right, that's all there is to it. I don't want to lose my job.
I'm just here so I don't get. I'm
job.
just trying to get what I'm owed, which is the band credit.
Exactly. There you go. Oh man. So I finally decided to stop being lazy and cancel my Funimation account because Funimation decided that they were going to become Crunchyroll now. They held out for as long as they could. And it's been a while. It's been like fucking, like, I don't know, Canter, you probably know better than I do, like, what, 6-7 months since they fucking had the merger? Yeah, I've just been like, I'll get around to it sometime.
Just get the money anyway,
Yeah, I have my phases where it's like, I really want to watch some fucking anime, and I just, like, anime out for, like, a fucking month, and then after that, I'm just like, all right, it's time to get back to, like, some comedies. Okay, let's get into some dramas. Okay, let's get into this and then that. So I have my phases where I just bounce in and out of, and finally I'm starting to get back into my phase because so whenever my daughter was born and I used to babysit her, like when she actually like fit her whole chair on my desk, we had her surgeries and stuff coming up, and I was just like super stressed out. When you're super stressed out, you tend to go to like, you know, things that are like, you know, comfort mode, if you will. So it's like growing up, I watched the fuck out of Cowboy Bebop. It was my favorite anime growing up. So I used to watch that all the time. She'd just be right here just like staring at it like, and stuff like that. So now whenever she hears the Cowboy Bebop opening theme, wherever she's at in the house, them little feet just, she comes run into the room, big smile on her face, loves the Cowboy Bebop theme. And so I started watching Cowboy Bebop again. I was like, man, fuck, dude, I really need to get my fucking anime shit back up. So I decided to watch the Netflix one again too, just to see, you know, if there was anything else I possibly could have hated. And I still hate that fucking show. It's terrible. It's absolute garbage. But anyways, moving on. So I canceled my Funimation account. And Funimation, whenever you go to cancel it, so they keep their services up. You can go make a Funimation account right now and go watch anime. Their services are still up. And they're not shutting down anytime soon. But they're part of Crunchyroll now. So you can stay Funimation, you don't get Crunchyroll, or you can go to Crunchyroll and also get Funimation. Both. It doesn't make any sense, and they don't convert your membership over because they're still keeping their own membership up. Now, so people probably don't know what the difference is. So Crunchyroll is basically like the hub of all anime, except for dub. Dubs are normally have like some kind of like limited rights to be on Funimation first. Then, like a year or so later, we'll get on to other platforms like Hulu and Netflix and Crunchyroll and shit like that. So that's why I had Funimation, because I don't have time to read my fucking TV shows all the damn time. So sometimes I have to watch dub. It's just all there is to it. So with that being said, that's why I went Funimation. So I finally was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to cancel it. So I go to cancel it, and the message comes up, and it's all like, we love that you were a Funimation member for so long, and thank you so much for being loyal to us. We hope that you will come and join us on our adventure over at Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is the future of Funimation. And that's just that just is a sad fucking message right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I canceled it, picked up Crunchyroll. I'm back on my anime phase. I'm fucking loving it. Oh, it's been good. It's been good being back. I think I have one more. No, not even one more. I think I have 15 minutes left of the last episode of Shield Hero Season 2. And then I'm halfway through Season 2 of Demon Slayer. And then I have like a season and a half of My Hero Academia I got to catch up on. It's like, fuck, dude. So much anime. I got to start watching anime. It's all because I bought me some Pops, Kelsey. I bought Pops. I don't know if you remember any of this from when we did our thing, but there's Faye and her gorgeous dress.
Yeah.
This one you would love. This one would be your favorite. It's Jet with his little bonsai tree. He's got his little bonsai tree. It's great.
Oh my God.
I love it. It's fantastic. And
That's
then
fantastic.
That filler episode I told you about where Spike had to kill the sludge that came out of the fridge that was hurting everybody. There's him all geared up to take on the sludge.
Nice.
They actually had Julia. So I got me a nice Julia. And then the last one of the set is Edward and Lil Ein.
Okay.
Little Ein in the backpack.
Aw,
Gotta
I
have
wanted to
Ein,
make
dude.
sure that Ein was included. Good.
Gotta have Ein.
Yeah.
Yep. Always with
I was
Ed.
hoping for a discreet, separate Ein.
Yeah,
There
me
is in
too.
the
But
original
okay.
one. There is in the original set. The original set that's like a shit ton of money, which I'm super lucky because my brother bought them when they came out, and he's like, "I'm gonna sell these," and I was like, "Fucking sell them to me! Like, I'll buy them from you." Like, fuck yeah! So I'm getting the original set. I've bought Faye off of him so
Nice.
far, but yeah, this is the second set that just came out, and my brother was at fucking Hot Topic. Was like, "Yo, dude, they got like all of them here," and I was like, oh, "Buy them. I'll pay you right now. Like, let's go." Done. Easy.
Make it happen.
Spike is $300 himself from the original set. Like, buy them,
Whoa.
please. I will take them right now. So yeah. But yeah. So anime binge. I've been super excited about it. Although I did watch, it's a pretty good show. I've been waiting for it to come out. In Blockbuster came out to Netflix. It's a 1-season show so far, obviously. But it's written by the same chick who did I can't remember her name. I feel so bad. Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Superstore, which are both shows that I absolutely love. Really good
Yeah,
shows.
Brooklyn
She's-
Nine-Nine's amazing.
Yeah,
I
so
was
she did
actually
it.
going to start Blockbuster this weekend. So.
It's a good show, dude. It's a good show. Yeah, I've watched the first season twice now. It's pretty fucking good, honestly.
Oh.
Damn.
Mhm. It actually has the chick that plays Amy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh,
She's the co-lead cast in the show. So, yep. So she's in there. But other than that, I don't know a single other person in there besides the guy that runs the store and the guy that owns the entire complex. So outside of that, I don't know a single other actor in there. So, bunch of new faces. Kind of cool. Seeing talent, you know? But yeah, so that's what's new with me. What about you, Kelsey? You've been gone for a while. What's new with Kelsey?
I have been gone forever, and I think the only like really fun story, because like we all know, like I've been out in the wilderness and I've nearly been trod on by animals. Like we all heard this story. Like moose, they occasionally try to step on you.
They
Don't
do.
go near them. That's the dead funny thing. Don't go near moose. Don't
Choke
do
on
it.
the moose.
Yeah. But there was one night, so we're hanging out with friends. It's late in the evening, and Scott's like, I need to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. I think it was Lowe's. I need to go to Lowe's. And I'm like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, I'm in the car, like, practically like, man, take me home. And he's like, it'll be 30 seconds. Like, it'll be fine. Just hold on to your, like, it'll be okay. So we drive to Lowe's, go in, and they have this is mid-October, right? Mid-October. They've got their entire spread of all the Christmas decorations and everything up. And guys, I lasered in on the best Christmas decoration I have ever seen.
Mm.
It is a gigantic fucking peacock. This thing is right here, by the way. It is just off camera. I would pull it up, but it is green, so it's just going to get lost in the green screen and make the whole thing muddy. The thing's like 2 feet tall, like 3 feet wide. It is purple and blue, and there's like sparkles everywhere, and it's gorgeous. And I have no idea how I saw it in the midst of everything, but I'm like, Scott, I need the Christmas peacock. And he's like, we're trying not to spend money right now. And I'm like, I understand that. I need the Christmas peacock. And so we walk over, and he's like, okay, like, let's just look at the Christmas peacock and see if you need the Christmas peacock after you stare at it. So I'm like losing my mind. This thing's covered in blue and green and purple LEDs, and it's making colors at me, and I am in a whole new place. And I'm just like, oh God, give me the Christmas peacock. And he's like, I'm going to go walk over there and buy the things that we came here for. It's going to take me 30 seconds while
Makes
you
sense.
ask questions about the Christmas peacock. And so I'm like trying to like, it's 9 o'clock at night, right? And I'm like stalking through Lowe's trying to find somebody to help me with this thing. Cause I'm like, this peacock is mine, right? Finally find this poor guy that is not interested in helping me because it's 9 p.m. and he just wants to go home. They don't close for another hour. So I'm not being a jerk here. I'm not holding this guy over by any means. But the last thing he wants to do is I'm just like, I can't find this thing. There's no box anywhere. I like, where's the box so I can get one and like take this thing home with me? He's like, let me go see. And so he kind of like wanders off and comes back and he's like, not only do we not have any more of these other than the floor model, there isn't any in the country.
Jesus.
What I think happened, yeah. So they were sold out everywhere. Like for us to get one, there was a slight chance if we drove to like Arizona. Like we had to drive really far, like cross state lines to try to go find one of these things. Because my guess is they made like $40 because they're like, who the fuck wants a Christmas peacock, not realizing that the nation is full of insane people like me. And I'm like, I will go broke for a Christmas peacock. Get me the Christmas peacock. And so they were completely out. They were out before it even became Halloween night. Like, they were completely gone. And so the guy was just like, well, we don't have a box. We technically don't know how much it costs. We can't get you any other ones, so you can have this one, I guess. And then I got it up there. I'm like, I'm holding on to this Christmas peacock with like I've got rage in my eyes. Like, I'm ready to take somebody out if they even try to touch this thing. And I was like, is there any chance it's a discount because it's the floor model? And they actually gave me one. And I was so happy. I would have bought it without it, but I was so pumped because I'm getting my stupid Christmas peacock. And my husband's just like, what are we going to do with it? Like, we don't really have a front yard the way that our yard's set up. Like, where are we going to put this? And I'm like, Scott, no. You know that big annoying Christmas tree we put up every year? Takes up a ton of space, takes a long time. You don't enjoy putting it up? Nah. Pile presents. Christmas peacock on top of presents. Done.
There you go.
Problem solved. 35 seconds.
Christmas nest.
I need
Exactly.
to know, what are the dimensions? How tall is this peacock?
It is a 3-foot LED peacock. It is
Okay.
90
This man
multicolored
done
twinkling
Googled it,
LED lights. This 36-inch wide lighted peacock dazzle your holiday.
Yeah, huh.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is very
Massive Christmas
beautiful.
peacock.
It looks
I am in love.
absolutely terrifying with the green screen on.
I'm sure.
Absolutely terrifying.
I'm sure people are leaving the channel as we speak.
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh god, I am covered in
Oh,
so
no.
many fucking sparkles after touching that thing.
So I want to know where
Yeah.
the price point came from. If there was no recollection of where did y'all even start trying to? Did y'all have like a bidding war of
No.
started?
Did you say you got it for 30?
No, I got it for 80, so I got it
80,
for 20% off.
Yep, 20%.
Um,
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Because people are reselling this fucking peacock for $350.
Holy!
Because
shit.
everybody wants a fucking peacock. I knew it. I was like, they only
Jesus
made like 8 of
Christ.
these things, and they're fucking awesome. I love this peacock.
You
So,
said Lowe's?
Just to make you feel good with your accountant mind, out of the 10 that I see here, 7 of them have sold for $350. So if that makes you feel any better about the price you paid for it,
It
You got a
does.
7 people have
steal.
bought it for $350.
I am very pleased. Yeah, I wanted a small
unless they're getting a
herd.
box with theirs.
I mean, yeah, well,
You
this
know.
I think is gonna live in my office all year long, and it's just gonna come out into the main space during like Christmas time. So I got my Christmas peacock, and the final cool part about this is I'm walking out and I've got this Christmas peacock. I've got joy and like warning in my eyes, so I'm like this weird like. Right, face full of like glitter everywhere. I've got a beleaguered husband next to me who wants nothing more than to get in the car, and he doesn't know why this trip that was supposed to take 30 seconds with a wife that didn't even want to come took 30 minutes, and now he has a fucking peacock he doesn't care about.
Before we move on from that, that's the
Yeah.
main part of the story that I want to hear about. The fuck do you need at Lowe's in the middle of the night? That's the question. Like,
Oh,
I need to run
no,
to
there's
Lowe's
actually-
for 30 seconds. Like, who the fuck runs to Lowe's for 30 seconds? That's the question.
nah, there's a story
Plumbing.
behind that one too, because whoever owned this house, so newsflash to anybody who doesn't know, we recently moved and bought a house. Whoever owned this fucking house was a goddamn moron. They put, I think, like 18 light switches for like on-off lights on dimmers that don't work. And so like there's one room in my house, and that's unfortunately the guest room, and they keep like it had a 4-way dimmer, so like it didn't actually dim smoothly, it clicked 4 times.
Ugh.
And there's a fan in this room in addition to a light, and so what I think they were trying to do is like make it like, oh, you can turn on just the light, you can turn on the light and the fan, you can turn on just the fan, and you could like dim your way through this thing. Except that's not how lights or fans work. Like the actual electrical stuff in them, you're not supposed to put those on dimmers. My husband's an electrical engineer, he knows this shit. He's like, this is actually like fire starting potential, like this is bad, you're not supposed to do this.
Yep.
And so we had guests coming later that week, and they were going to be in this stupid room where like when we've had guests before, they've stopped by and they've been like, Kelsey, I can't turn the light on or off. I've pulled the chain, I've twisted the thing, I've pulled the chain, I've twisted the thing, I can't figure it out. And I've had to go in there and like do some like Jedi mind trick on the dimmer and the chain to like figure this thing out. So Scott's like, we're fixing this before more people show up, and they're here for 2 weeks straight. So
True.
that was what had to happen. But final detail as I'm walking out with my Christmas peacock. I've got the joy, I've got the rage, I've got the the beleaguered husband, right? That's the scene. We're walking out and I see the coolest R&B man of all time. This man was like a 6 foot tall black man in a white suit that was like, he had a white cap with a white feather, like it was all white all the way down. The bottom of his shoes were purple, guys, and you know the purple I'm talking about. The inside of his suit was that kind of purple. I think he had a teeny tiny little purple feather behind the little white one on his hat. Like, absolutely pristine, amazing. Like, the whole thing was, had like embroidery in white on the white, so if you're staring at it, you're like, oh shit, that's really cool. And so I didn't get anywhere near him with, of course, my glittery peacock, but I'm just like, this guy's really neat. He's heading out. He gets into a car that is all white on the outside. It has all purple leather on the inside, and like white absolutely everywhere. It's got lighting around the rims of everything that's all purple. And after a few seconds of him stepping in this car, just blasting the smoothest R&B music you have ever heard. Like, what the hell? Like, I didn't even want to go to Lowe's. I found my favorite, like, Christmas decoration of all time. I am over the moon. And I just saw one of the coolest people. And if you tried to tell me this person existed in the real world, I wouldn't believe you, because nobody walks around in white and purple suits anymore and white and purple cars. This man does, and he lives near me, and I'm just full of joy. So that's what I've been up to.
It's just him and the kingpin.
Yeah, right?
True.
Yes, exactly.
It's very
The white
true.
and purple people. Is there an
That's very
association
true.
between peacocks and Christmas? Why is it a peacock?
Yeah,
I have
kinda.
no idea. I don't think so. I've Googled a bunch of like Christmas peacock shit to see if there's other things, and unfortunately, I found this really cool thing that you can put on top of your tree to turn the entire tree into a peacock tail. So the tree topper is basically the top of a peacock, like turning around looking at you, so the tree is the tail. So that's bad, because now I know that exists, and I'm going to turn my tree into a peacock tree, and then I'm just going to have a herd of peacocks in my house, and Scott's going to be even more confused and like, can't we just have a traditional, like, we got a tiny Jesus on the top of the thing, and we've got some family ornaments, there's some macaroni things I made as a kid, and he's not going to realize, nah, we're going to have a small herd of peacocks, and that's going to be our life. This is what he signed up for.
And now you're a peacock. Well, he didn't say when you were wed. I don't think you were a peacock girl.
Well, when we
My
got engaged,
knowledge.
I was wearing a peacock dress, and it was a
Oh, well,
specific dress
fuck.
that he had chosen because he liked it because it was a peacock. So
Apparently, that was always a
Connections.
Yeah.
it's woven into the narrative of our
Okay, well, then
relationship.
that's his own fault. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his own fault. So that's
Jesus.
what I've been up to.
Fair enough. God.
Who's
I'm-
like, where the fuck do I go from that?
Yeah, you can't really.
There's
I
a
would just set the
story.
motherfucker around the house.
There's a
is it battery powered?
story. I'll say this. There's a story here, and it's a story that happened at Kelsey's house, and it's a story that happened that involved a lot of alcohol. And I just don't know if it's
Ooh.
something that I feel comfortable talking about on the internet without talking to it about Kelsey first off the air. So maybe
might wanna
next
chat.
podcast we'll revisit that. But I mean,
Spicy.
it was like fucking deja vu. Like, it just fucking hit me with what was just said. So we'll get back to that. Anyways, but yeah, no.
Exclusive.
Something that I did want to talk about, because we did have a podcast, so we kind of talked about it while it was going on. I don't know how much more you guys paid attention to after we talked about it, but a lot of people in my Discord, we've just been talking about it and stuff like that. So the Daryl Brooks trial has finally ended and wrapped up. For those of you who don't remember, it was the guy that decided to drive through a Christmas parade in Waukesha, which is literally fucking a couple hours away from me.
Oh yeah, this was
Yeah.
the guy that had multiple counts of like multiple charges for aggravated
72.
assault and stuff like that. Like
72.
yeah, no. Before he did this, like he had
Oh,
a bunch. Like,
oh yeah,
from
in and out of
beating
jail
up-
constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of those were, I believe, assaults. I
Yep.
could be wrong, but I believe they were assaults of domestic partners and things like that. Like he's got a violent past.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's crazy because like I normally like whenever fucking shit like this happens, like I try to stay up to date with things, but I don't normally like follow them. Obviously, this trial was just a fucking spectacle from the very beginning to the fucking very end of just crazy, insane shit. I mean, chose to represent himself. There were times where he was walking around the court without a fucking shirt on. There was times where he was building a fucking fort out of boxes. He's been removed from the courtroom multiple fucking times and put in another courtroom so that way they could join him via Zoom so the judge could mute him because he wouldn't stop interrupting people and interrupting witnesses and interrupting the prosecution team and interrupting the judge herself. The judge herself, like, fucking... I mean, she's goddamn saint. Like, to deal with that, I can't fucking believe that she was able to do that. That's fucking nuts. But this dude was just a jackass the entire time. It's just rough because, like, you watch, like, the interviews with, like, his mom and stuff. She's like, you know, he's not a hateful person, which, as Kelsey just pointed out, all the shit that he's done. Like, it's kind of hard to argue that. But it's his mom. It's unconditional love. Like, that's just, that's what that is. That's what that, you can't really fault her. It's unconditional
You need
love.
one person in your corner all the time, and that should be your parents.
Right. So... But it was like, she even would say, I keep telling him, like, you have to show people that, you know, it can't just be me that you're showing that this affects you. Like, you can't just keep interrupting the judge. You can't just, you know, keep telling people to stop talking about certain things that you don't like to hear. Like, it's going to happen whether you're there or not. You should be trying to act civil, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, I had just been waiting for the impact statement. So I'm like, I just want to see, is this, like, is there any remorse at all? And the entire impact statements, it's just a whole bunch of like and stuff like this the entire time. And I'm just like, fucking A, man. And then it gets to his people who are talking on his behalf, and he's like crying and all this other shit that's going on and stuff like that. And I'm just like, bro, this is, oh my god. So the judge, before I get to what the judge said,
Wait, I got a question.
yes.
Did you just say that reading the impact statements of the victims and the survivors, he didn't care and he was just kind of laughing at, not necessarily laughing it off, but he was blasé, but when impact statements that, like, people were talking about him,
Correct, yes.
like people talking on his behalf, that's
Correct.
when he showed emotion?
Correct, yes.
Oh, bud, wrong way to go.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
he is, I mean, he's calling himself not guilty, right? So
Right.
he can't be... Why would he be bothered by what they're saying? He didn't do it.
Well, yeah, but at that point, you've already been found guilty. You've already been found guilty at this
I
point.
guess.
Because
Yes, he's
impact
gonna
statements
maintain
are
his
after
innocence.
the journey. Sure, but...
He'll appeal, and he has to...
yeah,
still,
he'll
like,
appeal for sure. That will
take it.
definitely happen. But so, it's still, like, whenever you have, like... I mean, there were, like, 8-year-old girls. Like, there was this one 8-year-old girl that told the story, and she was one of the ones that got hit by his truck. Because he struck, I think they said it was... 62 people, not including the 6 that he killed. He killed 6 people. 5 of them were elderly ladies. 1 of them was a young child, little boy. And then struck, like I said, 62 actual just walking parade. He ran through an entire girls' dance troupe of multiple ages.
Yeah, there's no way.
all the
That's
way
not
up.
just I accidentally touched the gas rather than the brake. I fucked up. I touched 12.
He went 5 blocks. 5 blocks.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my
This is the first time I'm
god.
hearing about it, so this is honestly
There
blowing
is
me out of the
so
water.
much. There's so much time in 5 blocks to realize what you're doing is so horrific.
Yep.
Oh
And that's
no.
literally one of the things the judge said. So, but like I said, this dude just chose every fucking corner to just fucking make himself a fucking asshole. Like, I mean, like I said, when that one girl was talking and he was just fucking doing this and stuff, she's like 8 and she's talking about how she's like, all I know is I was in the air and then I hit the ground and I rolled up underneath a parked car. She's like, I could see my dad running around looking for me, crying, and I couldn't call his name out because I was in so much pain I could just sit there and cry. She's like, and the next thing I know, I hear people yelling active shooter, and everybody's just running around trying to get inside places because the cops are shooting at him, obviously. So people thought, like, that car was running from an active shooter, and that's what fucking happened, blah, 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 blah. So, like, store owners and stuff, and, like, this fucking dude was, like, running down the street and, like, saw, like, a strand of her hair poking out from the car and got down underneath there and got her out and brought her into the fucking bookstore that they were fucking barricading into and stuff like that. So that way that active shooter couldn't get in there and fucking hurt them. And yeah, like this whole horrific story that this 8-year-old little girl had to endure. She's 8 at this time. This was like fucking a year ago whenever it happened. So fucking
She was a
7
7-year-old
at the
girl?
time. Exactly. Yeah, it's fucking rough. And he's just, like I said, just like as soon as she's done, he's just all like, stuff like that. I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here. He was just
He-
so,
I'm-
100%. He did it after every victim statement. He did that every time. After every victim
Okay,
statement.
yeah. Everybody in that courtroom that didn't immediately cunt punt that dude is amazing.
And this was the thing too. This is the
Sorry,
only
guys.
thing I didn't like that the judge did, is that the judge thought that it would be too violent of a situation for him to have to face the people. So he got to look forward at the judge while the victim impact statements were said from in the very, very back of the courtroom.
So that may not be for him. That may be
I don't think it
because
was for
seeing
him.
him is extremely upsetting
Right,
for
exactly.
the yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was for him whatsoever. Like, to me, it's one of those where it's like he should have to fucking like it's a different impact for sure. Like you should have
This
to
guy
fucking
sounds-
face the lives you fucking
I
ruin.
don't think that it matters like
Yeah,
that. I mean,
probably
we're
not, but
at the
still.
point where he's clearly like dissociated from the whole thing. Like,
I got
Yeah.
it up.
It seems like we've got some level of like psychopathy, sociopathy, something going on because like you shouldn't be able to hear a child tell that type of a story and walk away unaffected, like and do some asshole thing like that. Like that should be so like repulsive and horrific. There's no way.
Even under the pretense that he didn't do it or whatever, still a girl got hit by a truck. That really happened. Whoever was behind the wheel, it was him.
Yeah,
but
we know.
like it's still
Yeah.
fucked up. Like, dude, is not like a thing to roll your eyes at, even if you're innocent.
Yeah.
That's
Which-
insane.
He may be pleading not guilty because I think they apprehended him from the truck. So there's no
No.
question of like,
No.
did we find him 3 days later? Like they got him in the
Something
truck.
there, though.
No, they
So-
didn't get him from the truck. He
Oh, they didn't?
left. Yeah,
I thought
he
so.
escaped the
Jumped out.
truck. He took
Oh.
off like blocks and blocks and blocks down, and then he was hiding in a kid's playhouse. Left his jacket and his flip flops there. Went to this fucking people are way too fucking nice apparently in Wisconsin. Went to this random dude's house. Was like, hey man, can I borrow your phone? I need to fucking do an Uber. And dude's like, yeah, sure, come on in. Just a random fucking nice guy. Just got back from a hunting trip. Fucking brought him in. He's like, yeah, he looked cold, so I gave him a jacket. He looked, just treating him as nice. And the dude's got an Uber, quote unquote, on the way and all this other shit. And then he walks outside, and that's when the cops are kind of walking the thing, and then they see him up there and fucking GG's. As a wrap after
Okay,
that.
they nabbed him from there. Okay.
They nabbed him from
The
there. But
loosest pretense, but like people saw him get out of the fucking car.
people saw him get out of the car.
On
But once
camera,
again, we
probably.
live in a society where, guess what? He ran through a parade. What was everybody at the parade doing?
Yeah, like
There are
yes, obviously.
multiple videos that are fucking clear as day. You can see him driving the car. It's not even fucking close. It's not even fucking close. Not to mention the dude's a quote-unquote wannabe amateur rap artist that talks about killing people in his fucking songs.
Why does that
and
keep
drugs and
happening?
everything
The
else.
guy who
And-
did the shooting in Highland Park had a SoundCloud too.
Oh, I didn't know about
That's
that.
terrible.
But fucking
Yeah.
the truck he used is in the rap video.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the license plate and everything is in the rap video. So it's like, bro, like,
What?
fucking, you're done. Like, GG's.
How are you gonna make the argument that it's not? Oh,
I mean, you just
sweetie
can't
pie,
fix
honey
stupid.
bun, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah. Because
You know
I
what?
started from the
Yeah.
beginning of this. I literally started with like the cops interrogating him, how that whole situation went down into the courtroom, him choosing to represent himself all the way through. I went from fucking start to finish. And yeah, like he gave this whole story about like how his friends brought him up to Waukesha. He's from Chicago. Da 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 da. He doesn't even have a vehicle. Da 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 da. All this other stuff. And but he kept asking questions because he knew he fucked up. He kept asking questions like, oh, well, what are the FBI doing around here? He's like, oh, we're just kind of light staff, so they're helping. He's like, the FBI is helping in on light staff. It's like, you know why they're there. You fucking know why they're there. You don't want to say why you know why they're there, but you know why they're there. So.
If you have
Yeah,
to have
I
a criminal,
guess-
I like them dumb. I like them when they're just real dumb.
Oh, you should have
Helps it
heard
with
this
the
guy.
I mean,
Prostitution.
there's no win for him, right? Like, even if he was like, yes, that's me, I did that, he still, like, murdered 6 people and injured 60 of them.
And see, and that's the sad part is that
May
he's
as well
like,
just Hail Mary it, man.
yeah,
Go
well,
all out.
true, but at the same time, like, fucking, that's the sad part is like, this guy's not dumb. And that was literally what won this case for the fucking judge on not giving him the fucking insanity plea. She's all like, you would use legal terms that people go to school to learn. And you did not. She's like, this entire trial, all you did was put yourself out there as a man who knew what he was talking about was going to win his own freedom. That is not an insane person. That is not a person that doesn't know what they're doing. You were conscious when you ran those people over. You were conscious in this courtroom the entire time you were acting out. You were conscious whenever you made the decision to be your own lawyer. And literally her words were, I think there are 3 things that happen in this world. I think there are good people. I think there are good people that make a very, very terrible mistake. And then I think that there is the third option, which is what you are, and that is just pure evil. And once she said that, I was like, "Oh, you're fucking done, dude."
Oh, yeah,
she
she's
hasn't
putting
even
you
got
away,
to the
bud.
sentencing yet. I was like, "GG's, bro, game over, game fucking over." And props to the judge, because some judges don't do this. She not only brought up every single count that the jury brought him up, because she has to do that and do her correct sentencing for it. She gave the maximum she could on every single account. And she made sure that she read the name of the victim of the account every single time. So whenever you hit bo, this is what you're going to serve for that. When you decided to run over bo, she did every single victim all the way through. She let the audience like clap and applaud for the 6 that died. She's like, now the rest, like let me get through this because we're going to be here all day. So
Because there's 72 of these.
it's 72
God.
of these things they had to go through. Yeah, exactly. But
That
she
is
sentenced his ass all the way through. But, oh, man, it was, like I said, it was just a joke of a trial the entire time. Her patience was great. There's at one point, the prosecution team brought in his ex as a witness. And he went to go cross-examine her. And, like, his whole cross-examination was just trying to make her look like a bad mother. Like, the entire time. Was just trying to make her look... Because, like, she had, like, an alcoholic beverage that day. And they're like... Is grounds for nothing. Like she's wasn't driving a vehicle. That's not what we're talking about. She walked from the woman's shelter that she lives at now. Yeah, exactly.
I guess you didn't hit those people with your car?
Yeah, I don't know what his ploy was there, but he was just trying to make her a bad mother. And I kid you not, this might have been unprofessional. The judge didn't say it wasn't, so I'm gonna let it go. The prosecution team, the guy on the prosecution team, literally goes, I'm going to have to interrupt right here, Judge. If Mr. Brooks' entire cross-examination is to go and make her look like a bad mother, then we're going to have to, as the prosecution team, come back and show that he's a terrible father, especially considering the fact that today is her 31st birthday and their first child is 15. I was like, damn, son, let's go, dude. Fucking fire. I was like, my man, he was not dealing with that bullshit. He's like, no, sir, not today. You sit the fuck down. Quit talking shit. I was like, let's go, dude. And that was one of the fucking victims' impact statements, this dude whose mother that died. He's all like, it's unfortunate. Today I had to sit here and mourn the death of my mother because some child predator decided that he was going to run her over in a car. And I was like, I hope that shit stung, motherfucker. I hope that shit stung, you nasty piece of shit. Oh, man.
Like, how much older is he than the ex? Do you know?
I think it's like...
Because she's 31.
I think he's like 42 or something, 43 or something.
Oh my god, no, so he was a 24-year-old guy raping a 14-year-old girl.
Correct.
Holy shit.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Exactly. Because literally, as soon as the prosecution guy said that, first thing Brooks does is then throws this whole outrage where the judge had to clear the jury out, and he's all like, you don't know the facts. You don't know the facts about that. You don't know how old she told me she was. It's all like, dude, the facts are there, bro.
No, the fact is there. Yeah, she's a 14. Oh my god.
Yeah. So it was pretty yeah, that one, that was the spicy, and then like I said, the judge hitting him with that, you're just pure evil. But I mean, did he get sentenced to like life, or did he get sentenced to the death penalty? Do you know? So it's in Wisconsin, which is not a death penalty state.
It's not. Okay.
Which a lot of people were begging the judge to do something about that, which is like she can't do anything about that.
Oh,
that's anyway. That's not how that works.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Some of his ass to Texas.
I mean, that's a death penalty state for sure. But it's one of those situations where the prosecution was like, I know a lot of the victims are going to bring up the fact that, you know, that there's no death penalty. And we just want to make sure, Judge, that whenever you hear them say that, that doesn't mean that they don't want him to have to live all these years or all these sentences consecutive. Every person that brings that up wants this to be consecutive. And
that's the better choice.
And that's what he got. That's what he got. Consecutive life
sentences. 72 consecutive sentences.
Well,
okay.
No, he got 6 consecutive life sentences.
Okay.
And then
72
the other charges, like all the other charges for hitting, I think were 17 years apiece. Those are consecutive, but they are concurrent, starting with the life sentencing.
Which makes sense.
Yep.
There's also a super important distinction.
I'm just throwing
So
it
he'll
out there.
be double trapped. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, actually, so I went to school for not only accounting but also sociology, criminology with a focus in criminology, and the concurrent sentences and the allowance for consecutive versus concurrent, and there are certain laws in certain states that'll allow for if you've served X percentage of a sentence, then you can be up for parole. And so if you have a set of life sentences and then you have a set of 17-year sentences, and all of these ones are also consecutive, but if he serves X amount of this one, he may be eligible for parole or for special permissions or things like that. And so how they construct that is very important if they're trying to do something like make sure that this guy never walks free again.
Right.
And while I recognize I'm not trying to start a whole debate on the death penalty, but what's one of the interesting things is a lot of people say, well, it helps the victims because they know the person's dead, they can't hurt anybody again. But when you look at it, even with the appeals that are available, so the average state has a couple layers of appeals court until you get to the Supreme Court. Usually it's only one, maybe two before you get to the state Supreme Court. But once you've gotten there, the only other place to go is the federal Supreme Court if they're willing to hear you. So you've only got like maybe 4 or 5 trials that you can go through. In order to execute someone, I think usually you have 8 or 9 levels of appeal. So as far as the impact on the victims and the people that are having to survive through this, for all of those appeals, they have to come back for all of them to make sure that everything was done correctly. So it's actually harder on the victims because every couple of years they have to go back and relive all of this again and show up. And so it's actually harder for the death penalty because they have to do that so many times, where you can that's greatly like limited with the life sentences.
And that's
so
where that shit is rough too, because like they had the dance teacher on the stance. That's the part where like my blood was boiling. Like I mean, obviously my blood wasn't boiling so much during the impact statements because I was just heartbroken, like to hear all that shit.
Oh
but
yeah,
my blood was fucking boiling during the witness trials and shit, where like he got to cross-examine them. It's like, I mean, the amount of patience you have to deal with that, I can't fucking imagine. There's this one guy that's telling the story, and he was driving like a parade float, and he's like, he was telling this the story because he was the first one that saw the truck actually pass him after it had made its first contact with people. He's like, he's trying to tell a story, and so fucking the monster, I'm not even gonna fucking use his fucking name, because even in court he was like, I don't consent to be calling that. Okay, you're a piece of shit. The piece of shit decided that he was gonna sit there and like be like, so how did you see the brakes? How do you know that there were brakes? He's like, well, I didn't see brakes. He's all like, I saw you stop for a little bit as you rolled over somebody's body. He's like, but then you sped right back up again. And he's all like, so did you get a chance to look at the license plate? He's like, no, I didn't get a chance to look at the license plate. He's like, but you said that I was in front of you, so how did you see my license plate? He's all like, you would just hit somebody. I saw someone's skull on the top of your hood as you kept driving and then ran them over, and all I thought was, that's my wife. Which it wasn't. But he's all like, that's all I... Yeah. He's like, that's all I thought of. He's like, there's... And like, just... Like I said, to be able to deal with that and actually have to take that cross-examination, fucking good on every single person that was able to do that, especially the dance teacher. She was... I mean... So many of her kids, I mean, she sounded like a fucking hero from not only her statements, but statements of people who saw her going around and doing everything she could for every little girl that was on the fucking ground. She went and stayed with every little girl in the fucking hospital. Like, she basically lived at the hospital for 2 to 3 weeks. She wasn't hit at all. But she was staying at the hospital with all of her girls. Yeah, every single one of them. I was like, fucking A, man.
Let's give props to those survivors and those witnesses.
For sure.
Let's also give props to the prosecution team, because I guarantee you the reason they were able to keep their cool in that moment was because the prosecution team sat down and said, we hate that this has to happen to you. Mm-hmm. We can't stop the fact that you have to face him and he's going to ask you asinine fucking questions. Mm-hmm. We're going to prep you for this as much as we can because you have to do your job here. You have to show up. You have to testify against this person. And it's going to be torture and agony, and there's nothing we can do to make that easier.
Yep, exactly. So
God, that's just wretched.
But the worst part for me, and it's not even this trial, but since you brought up the Parkland shooting, I decided that I was going to watch the impact statements of that one because I didn't watch that trial. Which, by the way, I heard about that fucking story about the fucking prosecution or the defense team flipping off the fucking camera before the cameras were on for the courtroom, so everybody that was watching at home saw the fucking defense team just doing this. The entire defense team was doing this.
Oh, hey, what?
Yeah, the entire defense team did this, and we're laughing about it. The defense team. I was like, what the
That's
fuck
weird.
is
Don't
happening?
do that.
Yeah,
Hey,
look it up.
lawyers.
It's 100%. Like, you can watch the video and everything. They just thought the cameras weren't on. So they literally went like this to the camera. And then we're sitting there laughing about it with the fucking killer. Like, what?
See, that's almost like that will be used in an appeals process. Whenever this guy goes back to appeal, like that will be used in appeals as like my defense was incompetent and incapable of defending me or doing their jobs. Like it's their job to make sure that I don't get off on a technicality if I'm held accountable, like that this didn't happen, and that will be used. I guarantee you that will be used in the appeals process.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a way to show that they didn't do their job properly. They weren't effective defense.
Yeah, possible. It fucking sucks. But yeah, no, the thing with the Parkland one was, it was one of the impact statements, and the dude is talking about his daughter that got shot and killed. And he talks about how, you know, whenever you're coming in to testify and stuff, you have to have all the facts, and you have to understand everything that's going to be asked of you, and how to talk about everything that's going to be asked of you. And he's like, so I had to sit there with the prosecution team and watch you execute my daughter multiple times and then go on and execute other kids. And like, he described it in detail, which I'm not about to do, but it was like, fuck it. The strength you have in that moment, like as a father, like the chances of me not fucking killing that guy is just, it feels like it's so close to out of the window. Like, yeah. I mean, so close. But I understand that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to let the justice system do what it's supposed to do and do your part, because it's not just your family. That's, you could fuck up this whole case for everybody, not just you, everybody. But I mean, fucking A. Like, I mean, why he's sitting there doing it, and like he's just fucking calm as could be, just trying to get through it. And I was like, fucking A, dude, like a goddamn hero right there. Like, I couldn't imagine watching that video and then having to describe that video. Like, fuck me. That shit's rough.
Yeah, no, that's horrific.
He's like, he was all like, even up to the point where you looked up at the camera and smiled because you were loving every fucking second of what you were doing. I was like, fucking A, dude. It's pure evil. Done. GG's. Fucking lock him up. Done. Ugh. It's rough. Yeah. It's rough. But yeah, that fucking Daryl Brooks finally is done. He's done. That is GG's. Appeal that all you fucking want, homie. It's game over. So you can fucking rot that one out. There was one Christian guy that got up there because there was a big Christian community out there in Waukesha. And they were the ones that were basically putting on the entire parade. And this one Christian guy got up there and he was all like, I hope that you give him enough time where he can, you know, try to find the Lord and understand what he's done and come to terms with what he's done. And he's like, and hopefully they give you a prison, or give you a Bible in prison for you to be able to read. He's all like, other than the one that you decided to bring today as a courtroom prop, because he literally brought a Bible, and more than half time while people were doing statements, he was just acting like he was reading it the entire time.
At some point he decided he was going to play some manipulation game, but he's not clever enough to pull it off well. Like,
nope. So
what?
Every impact statement from his side obviously was trying to get the he's not well plea deal. Every single statement. So
well, and the hard part is yeah, you're not well, but at what point are you so unwell you can't be held accountable for your actions?
Exactly. And that judge did a very good job of fucking bringing that up. Very good job. They had 4 doctors not only analyze him in person, but analyze the entire fucking situation of the court. And every doctor came back and was like, that's just somebody that's trying to physically show that they have signs of something they don't actually have, just so that way they can get a plea deal. Like, that person knew what they were doing. Like, this kind of behavior right here is just not how that works. Blah, 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 blah. And fucking court was all like, no, not happening. So, good on the prosecution team. Good on everybody. Like, that was a fucking trial. Like, I felt like I was watching that forever. Shit was crazy.
Is there an established motive why he decided to do that?
So from what people can see, there was another confrontation. So it's kind of something that Kelsey was talking about. There was another domestic abuse situation that literally happened like 30 minutes before there, where he went to go meet her to give her some money or get some money from her or something like that, because I think they have like 3 kids together or some shit like this. and they got into an argument. He smacked her in the face, threw her head up against the window, and then she went walking off with, her friend that lives with her at the woman's shelter, by the way. They don't live together. She lives at a woman's shelter. And they had this guy that was with them that was the chick's friend. And so he was driving down the street, saw them, got out, went to go get in a conversation with her, and not the guy, but the other chick stepped the fuck in and told him, get the fuck on. So then he got the fuck on, and that was the last time that somebody saw him before what happened.
Oh, okay, and then he just, like, freaked out, yeah.
Yeah, he was mad.
Yep.
Yeah, which is the same, like, that's the same basic narrative of, like, something happened in their personal life, got them emotionally spun up, and then they went and did something horrific. Like, that has played its way through more than one of these narratives.
Yep.
Yeah, but it wasn't, like, one of those things where, like, they found out he planned it. So, like, he knew he was going to do, like, not like the shootings.
No, he wanted to do something violent and hateful because he was full of violence and anger.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And he took it out on 72 innocent people.
Yeah.
More than 72 innocent people, because while 72 innocent people may have been hit with his car, like, everybody there walks away with a feeling of being unsafe. Everybody there, actually, people across the nation are now at parades thinking about him, thinking about them as, like, will this happen here? If it does happen here, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? So, like, the impact is far-reaching because this guy just fucking sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. But so that being said, you brought it up, where the judge even talked about, she's like, there was so much time for you to just take a left, take a right, stop any of it.
Yeah.
And you
realize
chose not
what
to.
you were doing and quit.
Yep. Not a single time did you choose to do that. So,
God, there's no freaking way I could ever do something like that. My God.
dude's a fucking monster for sure. So, but fucking, he got it. I mean, but every fucking time somebody said something, it was always objection, lawful law, like fucking just. It's like, bro, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Just
You
stop.
don't know what you're talking about, and you're
Stop.
wrong. I got really into murder podcasts for a while, murder mystery podcasts, and like true crime podcasts, actually true crime podcasts specifically, because I was trying to understand the mind of a person that could do something like that to somebody. Like, at the angriest version of me, I get loud. I don't even throw shit. Like, I would never. The idea of JoJo's like, you get loud all the time. I've hung out with you.
It doesn't seem that bad. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't throw things. The idea of injuring someone, let alone killing someone, like, there's no possible way I could do something like that. So I've tried to get in the mind of some of these people to try to understand, like, how different from me do you have to be to do something like that. And self-defense, I am sure that in self-defense I will hurt somebody if I have to. But outside of that, I can't imagine. I can't imagine the mind of somebody that would do something like this. Like,
yeah, it's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. I couldn't fucking, like, I remember whenever I heard about it, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. And like, something that the judge even brought up that I thought was good on her was, she's like, the only injustice that's being done here today is that, as we heard from one of the little girl's statements, she didn't get hit by your car, but she got hit by somebody that got hit by your car. So there are so many other victims who just got knocked over by other people, and unfortunately they're not getting their justice today read out like everybody else is, but you're going to serve for their time too. That's happening.
Yeah. That's why she went max everywhere she could, which makes sense.
Yeah, every single time. Yep. So, fucking good on her. And apparently people are nominating her and stuff like that to fucking run for Wisconsin Supreme Court, because apparently there's a seat coming up for that. So there's been like televised fucking interviews where people are going and asking her. She's like, well, it's not something I've been thinking about, so I guess I don't know. But she's all like, really? I served in a case. I did my job. That was my job. It just so happened to be a case that was very open to the public, and everybody was really interested on how it was going to go down. So,
well, one of the big jobs of a judge is to keep the dignity of the court and maintain that. And like, when they step in is usually to maintain the dignity of the court. It's something you can see pretty frequently, and you clearly saw in this. So for her to come up with creative solutions of like, you are being so obnoxious, you're being so disruptive, you are being a problem, but I need to have you here. How do I do this? And like, I'm going to clear out this courtroom, I'm going to have security, but I'm going to have you on and Zoom over there. Like, that's an incredible level of creativity, and I'm very proud of her for thinking of that and then and making that work in order to check all the boxes she has to check, but maintain the dignity of the court. Because the only way these victims could begin to get through something like that, honestly, is in that kind of a somber space. If you have a casual space where we're just kind of being chill about whatever like's going on, like, this is too big. Too many people were impacted. This was too intense. Like, you need a solemn, somber place to talk about these things. And so
Right.
maintaining the dignity of the court is very important. And I think she did a great job from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, she did. So my favorite part of her doing that would have been at the very end, whenever he gave his statement. Once he was done, it was now time for sentencing, and he was trying to interrupt her. And she's like, "I'm not going to let you interrupt me." She's like, "I sat here for your entire 2 hours. You went on and on about stuff that had nothing to do with anything." She's like, "I kept bringing you back around to what do you think about concurrent versus, all this other shit, and you just weren't answering." She's all like, "So you had your chance. It's done." And so he decides that he's just going to keep doing it. So she moves to the other courtroom, and then it was always he would sit down, and then he would ask the bailiff, "Oh, can I be brought back?" And then the bailiff would ask her, and she'd be like, "Okay, cool, yes, you can bring him back. Let's take another recess, da-da-da-da-da," within like 5 minutes. She was all like, "Until I get a written pledge from him that he will shut up and not interrupt me in my courtroom, he is not coming back in here." And so he would just write up. He would write on a piece of paper and hold it to the camera and would be like, "I'll stop talking." She's like, "That's not a pledge. Maybe you should look at what a pledge actually is and then write one for me. Until then, I will continue to keep doing what I'm doing." And then she just kept pushing on. I was like, let's go. That was the first time, and I don't mean this in any way, that was the first time that she showed backbone. And what I mean by that is that she was really strict on him there. And once again, it's not negative at all. Just throughout the entire trial, she gave him so many opportunities. And the reason why she did it was so that way it couldn't be played in his favor that she didn't try to help him out. And she did shit she didn't have to. There was times she explained stuff to him. She didn't have to do that. That's not her job. His job is to hire somebody to be his lawyer that knows what the fuck those things are for. She's not there to teach him criminal law so that he can use it and try to win his case. But she would do stuff like that anyway to be nice.
No, not to be nice. She's playing the long game.
Oh,
she knows that if she's hard on him, if she actually holds him to the to a lawyer's standard in there, and like doesn't explain some of these things to him, doesn't kind of help him out in these moments on his appeals, those are gonna be things that like a lawyer in that moment can bring up and be like, "Well, you could have, like, you knew he was incompetent, but you let him do this kind of thing. Like, why did you?" And like there's wiggle room. You're creating gray area, and that's the whole point of an appeal, is like you create enough gray area to decide that the original vote was incorrect, and then you send it back down. And so the more that she allows and the more space that she makes for him, the more she explains, the more she tries to set him up for success, the less gray area can be found in the appeals. And with the rock solid evidence that they had, that was literally the best thing she could do, and it probably sucked. Like, she probably came home and drank a bottle of wine every night.
Guaranteed.
I'm so mad at this man. But she's setting up the appeals court. She's setting up the next step for this so well, so that way he's stuck. He's just stuck.
Absolutely. 100%. So, like I said, I did not mean any kind of fucking bad by that at all, but it was just nice at the very end for her to be like, "This is how this is going to fucking go now. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
No more games. This is
judges only have so much that they can do that with in order to maintain what they need to maintain.
Exactly.
And so it's nice to know that when it was finally appropriate and she could, and there were no consequences, like there's no wiggle room created for him. It's just like, all right, this is now my court and I am the only speaker. Let's go. I'm glad she got her moment to be that. Because she probably wanted to do that from day one.
Probably.
Exactly. Well, as we're getting close to time here, there's one last thing I wanted to bring up, and this isn't something for me to talk about. This is something for James and Canter. But I've talked about this multiple times, and I've actually had people fucking, talk about, is it worth coming to New World because of this? James and Canter have officially participated in their first, and now second, actual invasion. And starting with our first win. You weren't even there for a loss.
Yep.
An actual invasion. For those of you who don't understand what an invasion is something that happens about every 3 to 4 days on a territory that is owned by a company, where it doesn't matter if you're green, doesn't matter if you're yellow, doesn't matter if you're purple. You all band up to fight the corruption that is the true enemy of Eternum, and it is coming. It is 8 waves of 30 minutes. 30 minutes of 8 waves of just fucking enemies, just constantly just trying to break down everything. Non-stop. Chaos. And you have 50 people you get to choose out of the entire game that will come and sign up to take in with you and try to fucking work together. So from the beginning process, so let me set up the last little thing. Whenever you're setting up one of these schedules, I personally take care of all Seraph's Blades invasions. I do the roster, I do everything. I spend the entire day messaging personally every single person who signed up to ask them what it is they do, how comfortable they are with their weapons, so that way I can put them in what I think is the best strategy. Now, with that being said, in a war, you get to full slot your entire 50 roster. In invasion, you get 10 slots. The rest is just random pulls in, and then you can kick people out and try to get people into the slots that you want them to be in order for it to be, which I think is bullshit, because if you lose an invasion, you lose like somewhere anywhere between 40 to 80k in gold to the territory, because it breaks down a whole bunch of shit that you have to go back and fix up. And you can only do one fix every 24 hours. So the fact that other people can just kind of get in there and fuck around and they have no consequences whatsoever really pisses me off. But anyways, that's not what this is about. So, like I said, I've talked this up so many times on the podcast. Now this is somebody who's brand new to the game. Brand new. What did you guys think about invasions? Start with
I'll be honest.
James.
I'll be honest. The first invasion, I got lucky to be there because I was only level 52. And that is not somewhere you want to be. Like, so I was on the musket squad, which is what I run. Obviously, my job was to take out the things that melees can't hit, as far as like trebuchets that pop up in the background, like there's skulls that
Cannons,
fly, that like
all the siege weaponry, anti-siege.
Anything that's at the distance, right? That's my job. And when I was level 52, of course, I still did a little bit of damage, right? But I didn't do. Let's just put it this way: the second siege we had, I grinded to 60, got all my 60 shit or whatever, and the damage difference between 52 and 60 was just fucking immaculate. Like, there was 50 people, like you said, in the first time, and I was ranked 49 as far as like they rank you in like, you know, who did what, like points system kind of thing, right? And I was ranked 49 only because the 50th person left. That's why I was ranked 49. Right, I mean, fuck, I level 52. I mean, I kind of expected it, right?
Yeah.
But the second siege came, and I felt like way more confident. You know, I had better weapons, better gear with this thing. And I was ranked like 25. Like, I was like right there, like mid pack. You know, and that's decent for range because I'm not, you know, constantly just slamming down on something, you know, constantly, right? So like, the experience is amazing. The last like 4 or 5 minutes of the whole fucking siege is just absolutely fucking chaos. Like, there is just so many things where it's like I said, they got these skulls that like just float in the sky, like they got 2 laser beam eyes, right? And so like as they're just laser beaming people, our job is to shoot one eye, blow it up, shoot the other eye, blow it up, right? So like, and they take a lot of hits. But towards the end, there's like fucking 3 skulls that are popped up with fucking 5 trebuchets around and cannons, and everybody just like, Jesus Christ, we got eyes over here and cannons. Like, dude, there's just fucking, and there's only, what, how many, 10 of us muskets or whatever? Like, there's not a lot. Like,
Five.
Oh, there's only 5.
We only have 5 people on a musket squad.
Right?
That's correct, yep.
So it's even worse, right? There's
there's group 1 and 2 are in charge of left door, and they have 1 healer. Group 3 and 4 are in charge of mid door with 1 healer. Group 4 and 5 are in charge of right door with 1 healer. And then in the back, because it's a staircase that goes to 2 doors, that's 7, 8, 9, they get 2 healers. I'm not going to explain the rest of my strat here because it is a little bit of a secret, and I'm really happy because it's the only one that's really working on the server right now. So I'm going to keep that to myself. But that's that. So that way, that last little group of 5, that's our musket squad, and they get to run around up top. So 5 muskets.
We run around like crazy, like when our fucking head's cut off, and just whenever somebody calls something, bam, we're fucking on it, like, you know, like crazy. There's something in the back. Holy shit! You see 5 people just, and like, holy shit, there's something in the front. We're just fucking there. But no, honestly, it's amazing. It's fun. It's definitely fun, and especially the wind both times. I mean, blow it out of the water the second time. First time was by a fucking thread. But
our tower that they have to destroy, so they have to get through a door. They can break all the doors, but they have to get through a door. If they get through a door, there's a central tower in the middle. If they destroy that tower, it's GG's. It's over. That tower had 3% health left and there were bosses surrounding it, and we were
It's
doing
crazy.
everything we could to stop
Yeah,
them.
it was
and
it was
ended
fucking chaos.
right there at 3%
Was it
health
just the
left.
30 minutes?
It was-
like,
Yeah,
did it?
30
You
minute
guys got
timeout.
it by on time?
Yep.
It was close enough to where when it ended, I swear 50% of us were like, we fucking lost. Like, it was
Yeah,
like the initial
everybody thought
thought, we're
lost.
like, we fucking lost.
And
I
all of
was
a sudden
dead
we
at
see
the top.
victory. Yeah, all of a sudden
Yeah.
we see victory on the screen, and we're like,
Yeah.
no fucking
Oh.
way! This last one
Those-
we just won, they didn't even break down a single door.
Yeah, they didn't even break a door.
Yep.
Those
It
other
was-
people when it was on that 3% one, you know they were screaming on the other end. Like if one more person had gotten a hit in, like, oh god.
Oh no!
Yeah.
This is just NPCs. This is not a war. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
no,
is the
Oh,
game
I
against
didn't
you.
realize
AIs,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not just
Okay.
random people. These are gigantic bosses that are one-hitting people who are guarding doors and shit. Gigantic,
Oh, no.
like these. There's huge
Yeah.
brutes, huge spriggans. There's commanders that can do flame swords that knock you out instantly. There's fucking gigantic bears that will just fucking barrel down on top of you and shit. Like it's
Yeah.
the world trying to kill you. So that's why I said it doesn't matter if you're green, you're yellow, you're purple. Corruption is the one true enemy that we're all supposed to band together to fight. So yeah, no,
Okay.
this is not that. That's why he's talking about those skulls. Like there will be times,
Yeah.
and I kid you not, like think about looking at like a fort and how big a fucking fort is. These skulls are like the size of 3 forts. They just
Yeah, they're
sprout
huge,
out of
and
the
then- and
ground,
they just hover.
and then they just shoot lasers out of their eyes down at the people on the doors, so the bosses can get through. And we have to hope that the musket team is not too boned down to shoot out one eye, then shoot out the other eye, and then leave the skull there until it disappears.
Yeah, because once the lasers are gone, it doesn't do anything. That's all it does is shoot lasers. So
Yeah.
once you take out the eyes, then it's just there to float. I mean, there's no point.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's hell, like I said, and it's there's a lot of response, and I didn't realize it like during the first war because like during the first invasion, there's a lot of responsibility on the musket squad. Like there's so much shit that the melees can't get to, right? That the muskets have to absolutely kill, or it just fucking. I mean, you lose doors, you lose fucking things crazy.
Because
Like-
the siege weapons that they bring, the corruption, whenever they spawn out there, they spawn out in the actual corruption. So you take damage the entire time you're out there, just from being out in the corruption.
Oh.
So to run all the way out there, beat the fuck out of the siege with my sword, then chug a health potion and run all the way back, my chances of surviving are pretty slim to none. And if something spawns on me while I'm out there, the red portal that opens up to spawn shit insta-kills you. So you're just done. So then I have to hope
Okay.
that's not going to happen because that's RNG where it can pop up in that corruption. It's not like one designated spot. It can pop up over here, over there, over here. 2 can pop up at the same time. Doesn't matter. And then I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm dead. So that's why you have to have the musket squad to shoot down. That being said, what do you guys think? This is what I really wanted to hear from James because he's been in that one. Oh, I guess Canter's been both of them too. What do you guys think about shot calling?
Yeah, I think it's really good.
I think
It's
it's-
really
No.
good.
I'm not asking how my performance was. I'm talking about the crazy aspect of fucking shot calling. Like I'm talking
Oh.
pretty much the entire fucking
It,
game.
Oh, yeah.
it only gets crazy the last 5 minutes. Other than that, it's pretty normal. But once shit starts popping up, and there's Spriggans left door, Spriggans fucking this way, there's goddamn cannons here, and there's archers there, and snipers back here, and it
It's
gets
like-
fucking wild. Like
it's
as
it's
far
a
as
real military operation.
it is. It is. And as far as me, like I have to make the decision. Like, is that skull that's floating there, beaming these people down, more important than me going to the back and taking out these 2 fucking cannons that are back there, right? Like I have to make a decision. Am I gonna go here? Am I gonna go there? You know, like it's a lot. It's
There's a lot
definitely
of there's a lot of so the way I like to do it is I don't like to I like to look at myself as a global shot caller. And then after that, I like to dedicate a person to shot call per door. So basically, I don't step over them. So Bennett's a perfect example. She shot calls my mid door for me. If I don't see people react to it, then I'll shot call it again, so that way she doesn't have to worry about it and she can just focus on fighting. My job is to shot call rotation team. So if there's 3 bosses over here, I need to get rotation 2 and rotation 6 to get together with rotation 4 to get over here, and then make sure that I'm also telling those rotation teams to get back to their doors when shit is done, because if not, they're just going to stand there and just keep killing shit all day. So then I have to make the decision what's important for the rotation team to kill and what's not. Yeah, that door is probably going to get a lot of damage, but right now there's a Spriggan over here versus 2 brutes on that door. That Spriggan's going to be top priority. Same burden falls on James because, once again, as James just said, I might say, we need to get that skull down mid. James is already in back taking care of cannons. Well, if he leaves those fucking cannons to go hit the skull, guess what fucking Flat's going to be doing in the back? Hey, we still need these cannons down. Guys, there's 2 cannons in back. We still... I mean, it's
it gets
just
crazy.
constant.
Like I said, with only 5 minutes, right?
constant.
And it's not one of those things where you can only put 1 like musket per like area. Like a musket does a good damage, but these things have the things that the muskets hit have millions of health. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of health that these things have. Right?
Okay,
So
so
if
yeah,
one
you're
person were just shooting, I could shoot a fucking a cannon for 5 minutes, and maybe take it down by myself. Right, but you get 5 people shooting at the same time, so it's kind of like a rotation. Like you have to like have that group. And all I do, like so, like when I make I'm an echoer. Like I echo. Like I want to make sure that the musket squad that I'm on hears what has been said. Like I don't want to be the only one to rotate to the back to shoot this cannon. I don't want to be the only one to rotate to the right door to shoot this set of eyes. Like so, whenever somebody calls something, I'm immediately on it. Eyes right door on it. Whatever. So like I'll make sure everybody hears that is with me. To go that way. Because the faster we take it down, less damage it does, the more damage they can do on the ground to the people that are,
which you have done a good job of. I will say that. Only being into invasions, you've done a good job. I literally called him and like gave him like the lowdown.
Yeah.
Like, all right, dude, we got invasion in 10 minutes. This is what I need you to do. Like, I need you to echo these specific calls. So I'd say we got eyes in our we can say eyes. We got eyes mid. I need right eye down, then left eye down. Right eye down, then left eye down. And then you'll hear James, eyes mid, right eye down, then left eye down. We got a cannon on right. Guys, cannon on right. And then fucking, you got it, dude. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. So, it's a well-oiled machine now. But that first win, buddy, I thought it was done. I mean, we had like 2 Spriggans and 3 Brutes, and they were just all there. And I was just like, oh my God, dude, it's so close. And then the screen just goes black, and literally, like James said, everybody was just like,
I thought was it. I was like, fuck.
And then you just see blue victory versus red defeat. And I was like, no fucking way, let's go!
Everybody was crazy.
It was good.
Crazy.
That's just an invasion. Like that's just one part of the fucking game. Like it's
I'm not even leveled enough to do a war yet. So I'm just glad to do an invasion.
Oh, speaking of war, we have one Friday, so I'm not happy about that. It's our first time defending our home, so we'll hopefully doesn't lose it by the time Kelsey gets on to play for the first time.
yeah, hey guys, what can we do here? And you're just like, we have nothing, we are nothing, please go away. Like, okay!
No.
My house is there. What happens?
You get to keep your house. You
Okay.
get to keep your house, but we will not be in control of like the buffs and shit that go on there anymore. They'll get to choose that if they win. Once again, I have a lot of confidence that we're going to win. There's a lot of uncertainty on the server right now, but it's like I told everybody in the Discord, Monarch's Bluff is not that's not Sarah's Blade's last stop. Monarch's Bluff is a tier 2 territory. I want a tier 1. We have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, green company on the server. There's no reason we can't have an Everfall or a Windsword or a Brimstone Sands. Like, there's no reason we can't. So, we lose Monarch's Bluff, it'll suck, but like I said, it is what it is. I'm not too overly concerned. We'll be all right. Figure it out. I just wish we wouldn't have paid our fucking taxes early. Fucking Tony was trying to be like, oh, I'll pay our taxes early because I'm a fucking nice guy. And paid $140,000 in taxes because that's what our taxes were for that week. And then we got fucking sieged literally right after that when we knew that was probably going to fucking happen. And now, hopefully, we make enough money back. We pulled a trick one. We pulled a real trick out of our fucking ass. So the way the siege window works is you get to pick a time that is best for your company to go to war and invasions. So we've always had 11 to 11:30 Eastern, so 10:30 our time. And that's just when all of our people are on. So when they were sieging us, I was like, well, it hasn't hit our siege window yet. So because our siege window hasn't passed, that means that we will go to war tomorrow. Right? And Tony's like, yeah. And I was like, so when was our invasion? He goes, our invasion was on Saturday. And he goes, because Tony really knows the invasion schedules. And he's like, well, since that's the way that it was, he goes, we should be getting an invasion tonight. So if we switch our siege window back to right now, our invasion will proc, and they can't declare until we're done with our invasion. They still got to push influence. We're still going to war. But that means that that's 2 days to wait for the invasion. And then on top of that, that also means that we don't have to worry about the war until Friday. So it bought us extra days to get people leveled the fuck up and where they need to be to potentially, hopefully win this. So should be a lot of fun, but I am super excited. But yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed your invasion. Seriously, like I don't get to talk to a lot of you afterwards because there's so many people in the fucking Discord and everybody's wanting to give constructive criticism and everything else, which is super appreciated. So listen to all that stuff. I had like somebody that was like from the Yellows and it was like, I just want to say, Clouded, you are the best shot caller I ever heard. We just came from Reekwater and it was a fucking shit show. I don't think the dude even talked a single time. No one knew what they were doing. We lost super fucking fast. He's like, you have amazing clean calls, and you're not scared to like tell people to calm it down. Like literally, so many people were calling shit out. I was like, everybody shut the fuck up. Calm down, comms for a second, please. All I want to hear is when there's a commander at the door or a Spriggan at the door. If there's a brute at the door, you should be able to take care of the brutes yourself. If not, you don't need to be in our next invasion. Plain and simple. That's the only things I need to hear. Like, just plain and simple. And then everybody calmed down. And then it was just like, we got a Spriggan over here. All right, cool. Rotate the Spriggan. But before that, it was, brute on door, brute on door. Let's get brute down. Let's get the brute down. Oh, brute's dead, brute's dead, brute's dead. We got another one coming down. I mean, they're just constant. Every door's talking. And I'm like, guys. No one can hear me. Like, I need to hear where the boss is at so I can tell these teams that are over here with their thumb up their ass to come with me to kill the fucking boss. That's all I need to happen right now. Like, early games, it's fine. Everybody gets to relax and have fun. Oh, what did you do last night? I watched the fucking game. But whenever that fucking fifth wave hits, oh, fuck no, dude. It is constant shit just coming straight at the fucking fort constantly. So, yeah, it gets a little crazy. But anyways, we will go ahead and wrap it up. A little overtime. Not too crazy. A little overtime. Kind of wanted to change the subject a little bit because I didn't want it to end on a down note.
Good call.
And that was the only thing that came to mind, so I was like, fuck it, we'll go with that. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Obviously, got to enjoy Kelsey's lovely face being back and telling her amazing story about her Christmas peacock.
My Christmas peacock.
Feel free to go look it up because what you saw was fucking demonic. So feel free to go look up what it actually looks like because what you saw was terrifying. It doesn't look bad.
To see what that looks like.
I mean, imagine just like these glaring eyes and then these beads behind it. The tail's not there at all. It's just these random floating fucking gems.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, tail's completely gone. Half the body looks like it's disintegrating and shit up the neck. Yeah, it looked weird.
No, that's what I bought. Whatever you saw, that's what I purchased. That's my vibe. That's my aesthetic, obviously.
That's what she likes over a Christmas tree. She's like, fuck Christmas.
Some of us have to be the Grinch, all right?
Oh, man. But, yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. The best thing that you can do to help us out is to share this content if you enjoy it. Make sure you get us some more people over here so we can grow this nice big community and share all these amazing stories with everybody. But, other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time.